Imagine you're in a bustling high school, right?
Right.
The principal makes an announcement.
Like over the PA system.
Exactly. And instantly, in 50 different classrooms, the teacher's movie audio just perfectly drops down so the announcement can be heard.
And nobody touched a dial.
Right, nobody scrambled for a remote. Well, today's deep dive is about exactly how that happens. We are looking at this hidden central nervous system for commercial audio. It's the Gain Audio AT-GAIN-M50-LZ.
It's a 50-watt mixer amplifier. Runs for about $450.
Yeah, and its whole mission is basically to be this audio ninja, like everywhere sonically but physically totally invisible.
Because, when a school or, say, a corporate office needs automated sound, they really can't have these massive blinking audio racks just cluttering up the room.
Oh, for sure.
They need an infrastructure node that hides completely out of sight but still handles multiple inputs seamlessly.
So let's look at how it actually hides so well. The specs list this thing as a Class D 2-input mixer amplifier. And just to clarify for everyone, Class D means it uses these highly efficient electronic switches.
Right, instead of heavy linear circuits.
Exactly, which is why it doesn't generate a ton of heat. And why it's incredibly compact. It's actually just about an inch thick.
Yes, I guess.
And it delivers either two 25-watt channels for stereo, or you can bridge it into a single 50-watt channel.
Which is plenty of power.
It is. But because of that tiny size, you can mount it under a desk, hide it behind a display, or even, shove it up into the ceiling air vents.
And that's really where the physical design gets highly specialized.
Wait, I have to ask about that. Shoving live electronics into an active air vent? Because that sounds like a massive fire code violation just waiting to happen.
I mean, if it were a standard amplifier, it absolutely would be.
Right.
But this specific unit carries what's called a UL 2043 plenum rating.
Okay, what does that actually mean?
So that means it is strictly certified for installation in air handling spaces. The external materials are specifically tested to ensure that if a fire does break out.
Oh, the device won't melt down?
Exactly. It won't melt down and release toxic smoke right into the building's ventilation system.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is crucial.
Yeah, it's a mandatory compliance factor for most commercial and educational building codes.
Okay, so we've got a physical box that won't poison the air supply. That's great. But if it's buried in a ceiling, literally nobody can reach it to adjust the volume.
Right. It has to completely manage itself.
And it does that through automated audio management.
Yeah. For one, it has a dedicated unbalanced line level output.
Right, which is just a standard audio connection designed to feed the mixed audio directly into assistive listening systems.
Exactly. So it meets accessibility requirements right out of the box. But the actual daily operation relies super heavily on a feature called ducking.
I love the mechanics of this feature.
It's so clever.
Basically, ducking automatically lowers the volume of input 1 the second an audio signal hits input 2.
Yeah, it operates kind of like a polite conversationalist,
Yeah,
right?
it
Like
is.
someone who instinctively whispers the moment the boss starts talking over the intercom.
That is a perfect analogy.
It also features a dedicated PA sense trigger. So it actively monitors the incoming voltage from the building's public address system.
Wait, so it's always listening to the voltage?
Always. And when it detects that emergency or overhead signal, it instantly mutes the local audio entirely.
Oh, so you don't have a panicked teacher or an office manager frantically scrambling to find a mute button during an actual emergency.
Exactly. The system just prioritizes the critical information automatically.
Okay, but even if ducking handles all the busy daylight hours, what's stopping this thing from just burning electricity all night in an empty school?
Well, it's ENERGY STAR qualified.
Wow.
It uses this adjustable standby timer. So if it doesn't detect any audio signal for anywhere between 5 and 25 minutes...
It just drops into a standby mode.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, but I looked at the math on this, and I have to be honest, it feels a tiny bit like marketing hype.
How so?
Well, in standby, it consumes less than 0.5 watts.
Right.
But its normal idle consumption is only 3.6 watts. So dropping 3 watts across 100 rooms is only 300 watts total. That's, what, the equivalent of turning off maybe 3 old incandescent light bulbs? Does that actually matter?
On an individual electric bill, not at all.
Right.
But modern building codes and corporate ESG goals, environmental, social, and governance stuff,
Yeah.
They aren't just looking at the big energy hogs anymore. They require strict micro-efficiency targets across every single device.
Oh, so it's an aggregate thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When architects and integrators bid on a massive corporate campus, they have to prove the total baseline power draw meets incredibly strict green standards.
Ah, so it's really about systemic compliance.
Right, ensuring thousands of idle devices aren't just constantly sipping power, rather than just trying to save a few cents a day on one single amplifier.
That makes total sense. So stepping back, for about $450, you are getting this remarkably compact, fire code compliant audio hub.
Yeah, it manages its own volume for emergencies and accessibility.
And it checks all the necessary boxes for those modern green building standards. It basically solves a complex logistical problem without demanding any constant human intervention.
Truly invisible infrastructure.
It really is. And it leaves you wondering, I mean, if a basic audio amplifier hidden in a ceiling tile is getting this smart and autonomous,
Yeah.
what other invisible technologies are constantly adjusting the environments around you without you ever even noticing?